Every day we make moral choices. We help or we hurt. We speak truth or stay silent. But where do those choices come from? For centuries, religion has been our guide, a sacred compass pointing to what's right and wrong. But today, more and more people are walking away from religion. And yet, they still believe in kindness. They still fight for justice. They still do good. So the question arises, do we need religion to be good? Or is there something deeper inside us? Something older than faith, stronger than fear, and more universal than creed? This is not an attack on belief. This is not a defense of atheism. This is a journey through history, psychology, science, and the human heart. Let's begin. What makes a person good? Is it their belief in a higher power? Or is it something deeper, rooted in empathy, reason, and shared human experience? For thousands of years, religion has offered answers. It has provided guidance, commandments, and a vision of right and wrong shaped by divine authority. From the 10 Commandments to the teachings of the Quran, from the wisdom of the Buddha to the laws of the Torah, religions have painted a moral map, etched across centuries. But today, something is shifting. More and more people are stepping away from religion. In the United States alone, nearly 1/3 of adults say they have no religious affiliation. And yet these people still care. They raise families. They rescue animals. They donate blood. They fight for justice. They cry when they see suffering. They celebrate goodness. So, do we really need religion to be moral? For many believers, the answer is yes. Religion provides not only the rules, but the reason. Without God, they say, there can be no objective morality. What's good becomes just a matter of opinion. Killing, stealing, betrayal. Without a higher judge, who decides? This belief is echoed in many traditions. In Christianity, moral law reflects the very nature of God. In Islam, ethics are inseparable from submission to divine will. In Judaism, law is a covenant, a sacred agreement of ethical living. Even in Hinduism or Buddhism, morality is woven into the fabric of cosmic balance and karma. The religious argument often goes further. If there's no divine justice, no heaven, no hell, what stops people from doing evil when no one is watching? C.S. Lewis once said, "A man does not call a line crooked unless he has some idea of a straight line." For Lewis, our very sense of right and wrong pointed to a greater moral source. But critics ask, if we only act morally out of fear of punishment or hope of reward, is that truly morality, or is it obedience? On the other side, many secular thinkers argue that morality doesn't require a God at all. They say goodness is a product of evolution, society, and shared values, not sacred texts. We are social creatures. Our ancestors needed to cooperate, to share, to trust each other in order to survive. Over time, behaviors like empathy, fairness, and kindness became part of our nature, not because God commanded them, but because they worked. This view sees morality as a human creation, based not on divine command but mutual benefit. Do not kill isn't sacred because God said it, but because murder tears apart families and communities. Philosopher Immanuel Kant believed that morality came from reason. He proposed that we act in ways we'd want everyone else to act. In other words, treat others how you'd want to be treated, not because of heaven or hell, but because it's the only way civilization can survive. Then there's humanism, the belief that humans can be ethical and compassionate without relying on the supernatural. Humanists ask, why do we need ancient scriptures to tell us not to harm each other? Isn't compassion something we already feel? Secular societies like Sweden, Norway, and Japan have some of the lowest crime rates and some of the highest rates of non-religious belief. Could it be that goodness thrives not just in churches and mosques, but also in classrooms, hospitals, and neighborhoods where people simply care for each other? Still, critics of secular morality point out that atheism has not always led to peace. Stalin, Mao, and Pol Pot were non-believers, and their regimes committed horrors. But then again, the Inquisition, religious wars, and violent extremism remind us that belief itself doesn't guarantee virtue. So where does morality really come from? Modern science offers clues. Psychologists have studied babies, only a few months old, who show preference for helpful characters and discomfort at acts of harm. These tiny humans, untouched by theology, already display a sense of justice. Neuroscience reveals that acts of kindness activate pleasure centers in the brain. Doing good feels good. Our brains are wired for empathy. Evolution favored cooperation, not cruelty. We can see morality in animals too. Apes who console each other, elephants who mourn their dead, dolphins who help the injured. It seems the roots of morality run deeper than religion alone. But science also has limits. It can describe how moral feelings work, but not why we should follow them. It doesn't answer questions like, should I risk my life for a stranger? Should I lie to protect someone I love? These are questions of meaning, of values, not just chemistry. So we return to our original question. Do we need religion to be good? Maybe the answer isn't binary. Religion, at its best, reminds us that we are not the center of the universe. It teaches humility, community, forgiveness, and awe. It gives language to our deepest hopes. But religion, like any powerful idea, can also be twisted to justify hate, exclusion, and control. Secularism, at its best, encourages critical thinking, empathy, and freedom. It asks us to build an ethical world, not because we're told to, but because we choose to. But secularism too can falter when it becomes cynical, cold, or indifferent to the human need for transcendence. So perhaps the real question is not whether religion is necessary for morality, but whether you are committed to being good, no matter what you believe. Whether you pray to a God or place your faith in humanity, whether you follow a sacred book or a personal compass. The challenge remains the same: to live with integrity, to stand for what's right, to love, not because we fear punishment, but because we recognize the dignity in every human soul. Maybe in the end, goodness isn't about belief or disbelief. Maybe it's about choice. And every day, each of us gets to choose again.